Bonjour à tous, bienvenue sur JeuxActu. Aujourd'hui, on se retrouve pour une nouvelle vidéo. Je suis accompagné de monsieur Mark Cerny. Vous le connaissez certainement. C'est donc l'architecte de la PS4. C'est grâce à lui que cette console a été designée de la sorte. Mais c'est aussi l'un des créateurs du jeu Knack qui était sorti donc la première fois. Le premier épisode est sorti en novembre 2013 en même temps que la PS4. Et aujourd'hui, on se retrouve ensemble pour jouer à sa suite. Knack 2 qui sort le 5-6 septembre prochain sur PS4 et on a l'occasion voilà, de le rencontrer et de pouvoir jouer avec lui. Monsieur Mark Cerny, bonjour, hello, nice to meet you. How are you?
Good.
Good? Okay. So you have to show us how this new games running. Donc vous allez nous montrer comment fonctionne le nouveau jeu. Alors I'll let you do the first one.
Let's just get started.
Yeah.
So Knack 2, very different game from Knack 1. And I'm going to show you all of the ways in which we have improved the game. At first, we're going to need to get into a level here. And the first thing I'm going to do is show you the moveset of the game.
Yes.
Knack 1, we did get feedback that it was a bit too simple. So Knack 2 starts out a bit more complex, and I'll show you all the things that Knack can do. And throughout the game, the moveset continues to grow.
Okay.
So let me show you everything you can do. You can jump, that's X. You can do a double jump, which is X twice. You can hover. If you hold X the second time, you'll hover. And that lets you go a long way laterally. The right joystick is a dodge.
Okay.
L1 is a shield. Knack can transform a number of parts. You hold it, a number of parts into a shield. It's very useful in combat. He's almost invulnerable in that mode. R1 is control of Knack's size. Anytime you want to, you can shrink down and become little Knack, who's about 2 foot tall. And then you have punches, chained punches on square, if you hit that a couple times. If you hold it, you have a multi-punch, which is sort of a Fist of the North Star style attack. With circle, you have chained kicks. Yeah. And a jump circle is a flying kick. So that's very useful. It's I believe it's the longest attack you have in terms of distance, because Knack is flinging out his parts so far. Yeah. And jump square is a body slam. Okay. And that's the basic moveset. If you tap the touchpad, you can see how the moveset grows over the course of the game. Please hit triangle. And you can see about 35 things, improvements to the moveset that you can earn throughout the game. These are new moves, or the ability to chain moves, or make your moves stronger, or faster, or get variations on the moves that you already have. So much expanded moveset in the game. Other thing is, we don't make a distinction between single-player play and co-op play. So if you started a single-player game, but all I need to do is pick up the second controller and I can join instantly. Okay.
That's seamless.
It's seamless.
I go in and go out.
Go out just as easily. There's some fun things you can do in combat in co-op play. Yeah. We noticed in the playtests that children, particularly brothers, would hit each other in the game, not in real life, in the game. And one of the members of the game team figured out how to turn that into attacks. So for example, if I use the multi-punch on you, I turn you into a weapon. And I can spray your parts at enemies, and they take a lot of damage. Or the body slam on you, again, that's an attack. Any enemy in that area gets very large damage. Okay. So what does it mean? Does it mean that if we are playing co-op, the game is more easier than playing solo, and you get some more features, more movements? But you also noticed, I'm sure, that we shrunk when we shifted to co-op. Yeah. And that means that Knack is a little less powerful. Okay. And so now, there's 2 of us, right? Yeah. So to keep the balance, he's a little bit smaller in co-op than he is in single-player play. So we have a couple different styles of gameplay in Knack 2. Yeah. Knack 1 was focused on combat. Knack 2 has combat and platforming. This is primarily a platforming level. Also puzzles, and also some exotic modes like driving a tank. So you join me over here. We can do a little bit of platforming. Yeah. Yes, it's difficult to talk and do platforming at the same time. And if one player ever gets ahead of the other player, all you have to do is tap R2 and you can join. If I get ahead, for example, you can join by tapping R2. You don't need to do the challenges. Yeah. That's right. That's very important because players can get separated pretty easily in platforming. Also, we've used the size change in the platforming. So in this case, you'll need to shrink down to get under this, and then shrink back up again to do the bigger jumps in this area.
So what's the balance between the combat system and the platform?
So platforming sections, when we have them, they're pretty intense. So this is about, I don't know, 60 jumps worth of platforming to get through, which, you know, in Crash Bandicoot terms, that's actually quite a lot. That's most of a level of one of those games. So Knack 1, the concept was quite different. I was making a launch title, and I was thinking, wouldn't it be nice if there was a game that anyone could play, even if they'd never picked up a DualShock controller? And I thought back to Crash and Spyro that I'd worked on 20 years ago, which had very simple control schemes, and thought that maybe we could do something like that. Having a simple control scheme I thought was good because somebody who never picked up a controller could play it on easy, but for somebody who wanted to play it on normal or hard, it would be an old school challenge, very precise controls necessary to get through. Turned out that the reaction to that was not very good. And so with Knack 2, it's a much more modern approach, much greater moveset, many more checkpoints, different health system, very different approach than the first game. Let's do some combat, and I can show you how that's changed. All right, so combat. Try out our various moves. I like the flying kick for the range. Don't forget your shield in case somebody is a bit tough. And you'll notice when you get damaged in Knack 2, Knack shrinks. It's a very different approach, and if you keep getting damaged, you'll shrink down to nothing and die. But if you can avoid getting damaged again for 6 seconds or so, then you'll heal back to full strength. So there's a lot more give and take in the combat. One final move I forgot to mention, which is you can parry. If you put up your shield as somebody's shots are coming at Knack, he can reflect them back at the enemy. It's probably the most satisfying move in the game if you get the timing right, which is very hard to do if you're playing while talking.
So with Knack 2, you realize that complex system could be, how to say, a lot of people are enjoying complex systems.
And on easy, it's possible to get through the game with just punches and kicks for the most part. We don't require people to learn it on easy, but on normal and harder difficulties, definitely you need to be a bit strategic in your approach to the game. All
the little balls are around Knack. Is it less important in the game right now? Because I remember in the first one, we have to, you know, pay attention to that.
Knack's size varies throughout the game. He can pick up more parts and get larger. He can be anything from human-sized up to, I don't know, about 10 meters tall. This level, the level designer had a bit of fun with it. Our heroes have found a goblin city. They think it might be behind the troubles in the game. When Knack goes into the city, he's human-sized. And as he fights, he grows. And after a while, he gets kicked back out of the city and has to start all over again. But this time, he's huge. And this is later in the game, so more of the moveset has been opened up. The big move I have here is the hook shot, which allows me to grab an enemy and pull them in. And that is particularly useful with enemies like this sword guy. Let me get this. You don't want to die here, that would be embarrassing. So now I've gotten a bit bigger.
Thank you.
We're taking care to keep the enemies the same size even as you get larger, so that you feel the growth. It's something we didn't do in Knack 1. We tended to scale the enemies at the same size as Knack.
And I guess there are no firing weapon for Knack. It's only his fist and...
There are some special variations of Knack that you can unlock, skins for Knack. and one of them actually does have the ability to fire parts.
Ah, okay.
But that's for replay value. That's not something you do in the first playthrough of the game. So do you feel any more powerful here?
Oh yeah.
This again is the invulnerable mode I was talking about that's inspired by Crash Bandicoot. If you break the crystal, now you have a special moveset for 10 seconds as long as the music plays. And it's a lot easier to take out the enemies when you're in this mode, so it's a little strategic. You want to go as far as possible in those 10 seconds.
You want to come in?
I will in a moment. It's the boss of the level. You eventually get 10 meters tall and fight him. But at this point, you're too weak to do it. So Knack just got kicked out of the city. And now Knack needs to get back in the city.
And if we are playing co-op during the cutscene, can we?
It's a co-op QTE.
Oh, okay.
We both do it.
Nice.
Which I haven't seen before in a game. But the philosophy is that the second player is never a bystander. The second player is always involved in whatever the action is. So now you should feel a lot larger. The body slam is very useful against small enemies, so X, yes. Yeah. It's an area attack. One more guy to take out. Yes. And now we can continue. So shall we go drive the tank?
Yeah, sure.
So in a single player game, one player controls both driving the tank and the weapons, but in a co-op game, our philosophy is the second player is involved all the time. So the first player drives the tank and the second player has the weapons. So driving the tank, you have one pretty special thing you can do, which is hit triangle, and you can steamroll enemies. Okay. It's pretty good. It's sort of a dash forward. And I have the cannon here. So those are our two attacks, the dash forward and the cannon. When playing co-op, there's definitely a lot of conversations that need to happen to take out the enemies. This guy, you can see if I use the cannon on him, at some point he's going to start guarding. And now I can't use the cannon anymore. He's guarding against it, and you're going to have to take him out using the dash attack, which is triangle.
Let's go.
That's right.
And I can block his attack.
You can block his attack if he comes in. That's right. And I think we got him.
Yeah. Do you have to dash on this?
No, that would be very painful to dash right into an explosive. So we're supposed to blow them up using the cannon.
And do we have to come out of the tank sometimes?
Oh, we can just come out of the tank and fight if you want to. It's a bit harder, but hit R1, and now we're out of the tank. Okay. It is possible to go after these guys this way, but the tank is a fairly tough enemy if we do it this way. Yeah, let's not die here. Might be able to do it. Yeah, we got him. And another thing you can do if you come out of the tank, there's some secrets. If we get small and try not to get blown up by the other enemy who's firing at us, there's actually a little mouse hole we can go into here with the secret treasure chest. And on that note, I think we should probably wrap it up. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Mr. Mark Cerny, thank you for this gameplay session. Hope to see you again in Paris. Voilà, merci à vous de nous avoir suivis pour cette session de gameplay avec Monsieur Mark Cerny. Donc, je vous rappelle la sortie de Knack 2. Donc, c'est le 5-6 septembre en France. Donc, voilà, pour la rentrée. Merci de nous avoir suivis. Restez bien connectés sur JeuxActu pour d'autres vidéos. À très bientôt. Ciao!